जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेव टॉक्स। दिस इज आदि अचिंत। पाकिस्तान में बड़े बड़े बम पटाखे बजने शुरू हो गए हैं एंड द अटैक इज ऑन द चाइनीज। बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा सिनेरियो है कि चाइनीज को टारगेट फिर से बनाया गया है। पिछली बारी आपको याद होगा जब लास्ट टाइम कराची के अंदर एक अटैक हुआ था, जहां पर एक सुसाइड बॉम्बर ने एक चाइनीज की बस पे अटैक किया था। इट वाज अ वुमन। तो उसके बाद से इन चीज़ों के बारे में काफ़ी लोग बात करने शुरू हो गए हैं कि यार चाइनीज़ के ऊपर थ्रेट रहेगा। पाकिस्तानियों ने काफ़ी एक्स्ट्रा फोर्सेस भी लगाई, लेकिन फिर से एक इंसिडेंट हुआ है और उसमें कन्फ्लिक्टिंग रिपोर्ट्स हैं। कुछ लोग बोलते हैं 9-10 चाइनीज़ की डेथ हो गई है, कुछ लोग बोलते हैं किसी की नहीं हुई है। पाकिस्तान ने ऑफिशियली बोला हुआ है कि इसके बारे में बात मत करो, तो वो भी चुप हो गया है। तो आइए देखते हैं इसका क्या इम्प्लीकेशन है। बलूचिस्तान वैसे भी एक पाउडर केक है, और जनरल दुष्यंत के साथ जो हमारे साथ हैं आज शाम को, उनके साथ हमने इन दो एपिसोड्स करे हैं जो मैं सबको याद दिलाना चाहूंगा ये कंटिन्यूएशन में है। तो अगर आपने वो दोनों देखे नहीं है तो प्लीज देखिए। उसमें एक एपिसोड में हमने बात करी थी कि ये जो पूरा ड्रग नेटवर्क है और इसके बारे में हमने बात करी थी। उसमें अफगानिस्तान पाकिस्तान की थोड़ी हमने बात करी थी, मणिपुर की भी बात करी थी उसके अंदर, बट द मेन फोकस वाज ऑन द ड्रग प्रोड्यूसिंग नार्को टेररिज्म के ऊपर। दूसरा एपिसोड हमने करा था ईस्ट पाकिस्तान लूजिंग टेरिटरी। ये दो एपिसोड्स काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हैं क्योंकि इसके अंदर हमने एक स्ट्रक्चर बनाया था। तो आइए जन दुष्यंत से बात करते हैं एंड देखते हैं क्या आज की सिखलाई होगी सर, इफ आई में यूज दैट फौजी टर्म। सर गुड इवनिंग, वेलकम टू द शो सर। एंड इट्स अ बिग डे एक्चुअली, बिकॉज ये इतना कवर हो नहीं रहा इंडिया में, लेकिन ये बहुत बड़ा इंसिडेंट है।
Yes. Thank you, Adi, for calling me to your show. And yes, it's a big day in terms of terrorism landscape, right? As of now, since both the countries are involved in celebration of Independence Day, somewhere this particular news has taken a backstage. After all, independence is definitely a much higher news as for any country, especially if it has come out of the colonial era. But surprisingly, you will find that the talk which Munir gave on the Independence Day has a lot of loaded messages for us, which
उसके
normally
हाँ,
if you read it in the normal course, it will look like as though kuch nahi, I mean, it's a normal Independence Day speech. But if you analyze in the backdrop of what is happening in Pakistan, then you would realize that it's a very apprehensive and a scared Pakistani chief who's talking.
डरा
So,
हुआ है
so
एकदम।
this is so this is something which we need to be careful. Be we need to notice about it because somewhere it's a very bad message for Pakistan's security apparatus. What has happened, and if you recollect, I have covered it in my past videos also, that Balochistan Liberation Army is the fastest growing terror organization in the world as per data. And we are not talking of any kind of a, you know, figment of imagination or just based on a cursory trend, etc. No, it is not so. It's based on the fact that the way they have executed themselves, way they have executed the various terror attacks in Balochistan, it speaks of a breed which is different from the past BLA fighters. These are young people, firebrand, motivated, and kind of realize that Pakistan is defeatable because if Taliban can defeat United States of America in Afghanistan, if Iranian revolution can defeat the Shah regime, why not the Baluchi Liberation Army defeat Pakistan and the people who are trying to ride Pakistan, that is China. And the message which he has come across, I mean, the BLA has given out, speaks of that kind of a confidence. It's not a rhetoric by a underdog. It's a rhetoric by by a organization which feels it is in command and control of Balochistan. So these are my opening remarks. As we go ahead, I think I will unravel the lessons to be learned of this particular incident, and why it is happening, and what is likely in the future, what may happen after, say, if this situation doesn't get under control by the Pakistani army, what is going to be the likely phase of terrorism in this particular region. So shall we
एक एक
begin
एक
our?
एक एक चीज सर इसके अंदर मेरे को ऐड करनी है, बिकॉज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स हमको ये जो नोट करनी है पाकिस्तान
Hmm.
के बारे में, कि जो सेटअप आज पाकिस्तान में बन रहा है,
Hmm.
एक कंटिन्यूएशन के लिए एक सेटअप बन रहा है। और हमने पिछली बार ये भी बात करी कि मिडल ईस्ट और इतने सारी कंट्रीज अभी घुस रही हैं, इसके अंदर क्या बैक एंड है। हमने न्यूक्लियर
Correct.
के बारे में बात करी, हमने ये सब पूरा सब कवर किया था। एंड
इस बार
उसके ऊपर
इस
मैंने भी,
बार इस बार भी मैं कर रहा हूँ, इस बार भी मैं कर रहा
हाँ
हूँ
जी,
उसको।
मैंने भी
उसको मैं।
थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बात करी थी सर, लेकिन मेरे को जो एक एक चीज पीस में बैठ नहीं रही है।
हाँ जी।
बोलते ना, एक मिसिंग मिसिंग पीस है।
पजल
मिसिंग
पजल
पीस
है।
क्या है सर? हाँ, पजल, पाकिस्तान के पजल में एक मिसिंग पीस है।
हाँ
अभी
जी।
उनकी देखिए सर, सिविलियन अथॉरिटीज जो भी है, डाउन है, जीरो है।
हम्म। हम्म।
चाइना की तरफ से जो भी काम चल रहा है इस टाइम पे सीपीईसी के ऊपर, वो भी काफी हद तक अटका हुआ है।
हम्म।
एंड सीपीईसी का जो ग्वादर वाला प्रोजेक्ट है सर, वो
हम्म।
ईरान के ऊपर सुपर डिपेंडेंट है। उसके
हम्म।
बिना, ईरान के बिना वो ग्वादर चलेगा नहीं, क्योंकि ईरान से तो बिजली आती है आपकी।
बिल्कुल।
तो अभी जो ये पाकिस्तान और ईरान का जो ये अभी पाइपलाइन शाइपलाइन का भी जो झड़प सी शुरू हो रही है, मेरे को पता
हम्म।
नहीं क्यों लग रहा है कि ईरान का एक रोल निकलेगा सर इसके अंदर, बलूचिस्तान के अंदर।
देखिए,
क्योंकि ईरान
ईरान के
थोड़ा
बारे
चुप
में
रहने
मैंने
वाला नहीं है सर।
ईरान के बारे में मैंने डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ इसी इसी सीरीज में। आज आज आपके
सर
साथ मैंने ईरान का एक स्पेशल सेगमेंट रखा है, वेयर वी विल जस्ट डिस्कस अबाउट ईरान
ठीक
and
है।
how might Iran actually play out in the future. Not because that Iran doesn't want to play with Pakistan. It is because of other factors which are riding over Pakistan, which is preventing a Pakistan-Iran collusion here, right? So there is going to be a very complex game being played here. Saudi Arabia may look superficially that it has mended its ways with Iran based on the Chinese pressure, etc. But there are undercurrents. Saudi Arabia can never get along with Iran. Whatever you may like to believe in, it would be a very temporary arrangement of a Iran Saudi Arabia rapprochement. Although Saudi Arabia, I think Saudi Arabian, one of the officials has visited Iran in connection with the deal which has taken place. But those are things just to please the Chinese, I suppose. Uh, America, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. This link, which we had discussed last time also, is at play here. Until that link is there, it will be very difficult for Pakistan to agree to Iran's demand. Till how long will Iran take it lying down? That only time can tell, but we'll discuss that a little more in detail. And what is the Indian factor in it?
आप
What is
भारत का
India?
तो देखना है सर आपको, वो तो
What is
देखना ही है
India do?
हमारी।
What is India doing with Iran? And when I cover that, you'll realize that hell of a lot. I'll tell you, hell of a lot. India has played its card excellently with Iran, which possibly people have not noticed it because it has gone in the fine print. All these maneuvers of India through Iran have gone in fine print. You have to, mutual shares are subject to market risk. That is always printed in a very small font for people to miss it out. I'll cover those issues as we go along. It will come in that sequence, right? So, can we have our slides for today?
यस सर, इसको खोलते हैं, देखते हैं।
सो मैं अपने दर्शकों को बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये स्लाइड जो है ना, ये पूरी जो है वर्ल्ड की जो टेरर का जो गढ़ माना जाता है, द फाउंटेन हेड ऑफ टेरर, दिस स्लाइड डिपिक्ट्स दैट। और इसीलिए मैंने इसका नाम रख दिया है टेररिज्म की दुकान। ओके, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज फ्लोइंग आउट फ्रॉम हियर, एंड इस टेररिज्म की दुकान के मास्टर्स भी इसी पे मैंने डाल रखे हैं आपको। चाहे आप खमेनी को ले लीजिए ईरान में, चाहे आप मुनीर को ले लीजिए पाकिस्तान में। देखिए, मुनीर हो या बाजवा हो या फिर उसके पहले कवानी हो या कयानी हो या मुशर्रफ हो, ये लोग सिंबल्स हैं। ये लोग सिंबल्स हैं। जो डीप स्टेट है ना यहाँ की, वो काम कर रही है। ये लोग मुखौटे हैं। दीज आर द फेसेस ऑफ द डीप स्टेट्स विच आर वर्किंग इन दिस रीजन, which are creating this problem of terrorism. Similarly, whether it is the individual terror group leaders such as Noor Wali Masood or Mari, who's the BLA's figurehead, so to say. We have to be cognizant of this particular fact that this is the area which will now emerge. And I'm making this statement with a lot of analysis, a lot of thinking. The next Afghanistan, who
तो
are
क्या
going to be the
पाकिस्तान
big
पाकिस्तान बनेगा अफगानिस्तान, कश्मीर बनेगा पाकिस्तान की बजाय अभी नारा लगेगा पाकिस्तान बनेगा
पाकिस्तान,
अफगानिस्तान?
अफगानिस्तान। और ये जो ये आपको मैंने दिखाया है ना, ये जो इस चित्र पे, वो ये दर्शा रहा है कि ये बनने वाला है पाकिस्तान, कराची से लेकर के बलूचिस्तान, केपीके, और उसके बाद पीओके में उन्होंने अपनी खुद की दुकान खोली हुई है इंडिया के अगेंस्ट। तो अगर आप पूरा ही अगर आप देखें इसको, इस मैप को, तो जहां पे मैंने मुनीर की फोटो लगाई है और उसके बगल में उसके प्रॉक्सी की फोटो लगाई है, अनवर अनवारुल हक कक्कड़, यही इलाका रह गया पाकिस्तान का जो उसके पास शायद रह जाए। बाकी सारे इलाके जो हैं वो एक ऐसी आग में जलेंगे जो कि विच वी विल सी एज द टाइम कम्स बाय। सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, माय नेक्स्ट कमेंट वाज दैट snakes in its backyard are now, they have now become adult. They were very nascent, now they have become adult. Noor Wali Masood is a very seasoned fighter now. BLA is a very very seasoned organization. Taliban is already a seasoned, it's a granddad of all these guys. And Taliban Pakistan is, in the adulthood age. There is an alliance building between PLA and tactical alliance. I am not saying it's a strategic alliance, it's a tactical alliance between KPK and Balochistan, BLA. So, what is going to happen is that China will automatically get sucked in. Who is manipulating this sucking in? In my last video, we had covered it, that it is the axis of Iran, US, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. That is how the Chinese willy nilly will get involved in it. And if they don't get involved in it, Xi Jinping will go out of his country. 2, 3 more attacks on the Chinese people, Xi Jinping will lose any credibility which he has in terms of protecting his citizens. As such, they are single child norm guys. One youth dies, eliminate, kaput, finished. Replacements are much below the 2.0 average, which is required for a workforce to uh, grow in a country. I feel that this is going to be the next
सर इसके अंदर
next up.
एक और एक 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 एंगल और निकलेगा।
Hmm.
इफ यू अगर थोड़ा सा देखें, चाइना का जो एक मेन रोल था कि ग्वादर में कुछ करना है हमको, एंड इसको एक आउटलेट बनाना है उसको यहाँ से। नाउ चाइना ऑल्सो, उसको चाहिए कि मैं अफगानिस्तान से कहीं ईरान से बाहर निकलूं। वो अफगानिस्तान से भी बात कर रहा है, काफी ट्राई कर रहा है उस जगह से भी बाहर
दे-
निकलने को। लेकिन
देखिए,
तो
हाँ बोलिए, गो है।
जो 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 ये प्रॉब्लम चाइना की तरफ आएगी सर, देखिए,
हम्म।
चाइना के पास दो ऑप्शन रहेंगे, या तो वो अपना डब्बा बंद करे और जस्ट गो ऑफ फ्रॉम देयर।
या
दूसरा ऑप्शन विल बी कि लड़े वो,
बिल्कुल।
अपना प्राइवेट मिलिट्री को भेजे वहां पर, लड़े ये वो करके एंड ऑल दैट। जब वो
करेक्ट।
लड़ेगा तो फिर बंदे मरेंगे इनके भी। चाइना के तो जो भी है डेथ होगी होगी, बाकियों की भी जाएंगी। फिर तो
या
वही वो चक्कर हो जाता है ना, बदला लेने का है। तो वो अफगानिस्तान में घुसेंगे तो आपको क्या लगता है उधर पे भी जाएंगे इनके पीछे? क्योंकि
देखिए,
अफगानिस्तान में तो ईटीआईएम वाले भी बैठे हैं।
जहां तक अफगानिस्तान की बात है, उसमें अफगानिस्तान को इस समय अफगानिस्तान नीडेड मनी, and they needed money very 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 urgently, and they couldn't do without it. What the Chinese have done is, filled their coffers, and the Afghanis have responded well by pulling back the ETIM from the northern borders into the hinterland. So ETIM को तो उन्होंने वो कर दिया है, पीछे कर दिया है। तो चाइना ने ETIM का खतरा अपना तकरीबन तकरीबन मैनेज कर लिया है। प्रॉब्लम उसको हो रही है ग्वादर वाला, और ये जो ग्वादर का और केपीके वाला जो एरिया है, और गिलगित बाल्टिस्तान का इलाका है। ये जो इलाका है, दैट इज समथिंग विच दे हैव टू बी केयरफुल अबाउट. Gilgit Baltistan may be looking quiet as of now, but when they see that others can demand this, if the Baluchis can demand their share of the pound of flesh, then why not the Baluchis? There are 6 dams being made in Balochistan, and the people who are going to suffer in Balochistan, in Gilgit Baltistan, and people who are going to suffer will be the people of Gilgit Baltistan. So therefore, China is going to have a very serious problem both at the top end and at the bottom end. पॉइंट नंबर वन. पॉइंट नंबर टू ये है कि ये जो चाइना इसमें क्यों बार बार इन्वेस्ट करे जा रहा है, क्योंकि उसके पास बीआरआई की सक्सेस दिखाने के लिए है क्या? एक प्रोजेक्ट उसका ठीक से नहीं चला है. सी में अटक गया है, चाहे वो म्यांमार वाला अगर आप रूट लें, वो भी
Hmm.
अटक गया हुआ है. ये सीपैक की थोड़ी सी उम्मीद जगी थी, वो भी जिस तरह से एक्शंस हो रहे हैं, विद द वे वी आर डिस्कसिंग, दैट मे नॉट सी द लाइट ऑफ द डे. Hambantota has become a useless port, other than its own ships coming on and off. And to that, the Indians always, like a hawk, they will be, after them. Even if they get one ship, there are 10 surveillance aspects put up as far as the Indians are concerned and the friendly countries of India are concerned. So they're going to watch the Indian Ocean region very, very uh, carefully. So what I'm saying is the Chinese are having nothing to show in the Sea Silk route or sea BRI, and they have nothing to show in the land BRI. Some pipeline projects, okay, along the Central Asian region, granted, but other and the railway line which they have laid up to the Europe, that has been working. But other than that, they have
क्या है दिखाने को?
nothing big to show. So therefore, my take is that Chinese will get involved with the security angle into it, or they will make Pakistan fight their war and make it extensively involved in this particular security of the CPEC. The Pakistanis had two divisions earmarked for this, but they had actually raised two divisions for this entire CPEC corridor. But I don't think they can manage with two divisions. They will have to now divert, and if they divert forces to this, then what happens? Then Peshawar goes up in the flame. You're getting my point, that because, and that is why the BLA and TTP have done an alliance. They increase the pressure, these guys will try to go there. So in a way it is good for India. Pakistan is struggling with its own battles, fine. So मेरा इस समय ये मानना है कि ये सारे के पीछे the person or the country which is involved in all this problem and getting people into shit is Pakistan itself. And that is why my second comment which I have written, मझधार में नैया डूबे तो उसे माझी पार लगाए, माझी जो नाव डुबोए तो उसे कौन बचाए. It's Pakistan now which is drowning its own ship. Let's see how they come out of it. So we'll go to the next one. Let us see what has happened in Afghanistan. In the recent attacks, you had 3 killed and 7 injured, in the Peshawar area, right? Then you had, I was going through a Pakistani think tank. They have said that in the current year, half of the year, there have been 25 suicide attackers arrested in Afghanistan. Listen carefully. Out of which, how many are Pakistanis? 15 of them. So, where will the Afghanis go? They will start going after the Pakistanis. And that is why the TTP is not being contained by Afghanistan. What has happened today in Khost? Today in Khost, there has been a blast in a hotel. Few people have died and few people are injured. Who has done
But
it?
वो तो
IS,
बोल
I,
वो
ISKP. Now ISK has done it, and where is ISK getting the shelter? In Pakistan. So what is happening? We are seeing a battle developing between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and the battle lines are drawn now. Okay, BLA TTP tie-up I have already spoken about, so I'm not going to labor much on it. TTP has released a 11-minute video featuring the group commanders and fighters present on the outskirts of Peshawar, my dear. So they are no more in the Hindu Kush mountains and roaming around in the upper reaches. They are coming closer and closer to the power centers, right? So that is something which we need to be careful of. Doesn't matter. I can.
नहीं नहीं this 1 second sir, just give me a second. Yeah.
So I had already said that as per Pak think tank Institute for Conflict and Security Studies, in the first half this year, 389 people have been killed in suicide attacks. It's a corollary to 25 people being arrested in Afghanistan. What is happening in Pakistan? A similar story is building up. In Afghanistan, there is a story building up created by ISK. In Pakistan, there is a story building up created by TTP and Balochistan Liberation Army. You may not be surprised that the BLA is getting support of Afghanistan also, and not Iran. Otherwise, how come they can have access to all the latest weaponry in all their attacks, which have been left behind by the Americans? One, they could have bought it. Two, they are being given. Okay. Now take the next statement of the Pak chief, which he has given yesterday, or rather today. What does he say? Pak knows how to defend its hard-earned independence. This speaks of his apprehension. This speaks of his scaredness. This speaks of the fact that he is a worried man as far as Western Pakistan is concerned. And there are many more such paragraphs in his speech which actually point toward this kind of a assessment which I am making. Growing Indian closeness to Iran, impact on Balochistan. Now, I'll tell you what all has happened between India and Iran. India has supplied the pinakas to Armenia. I mean, all of you would have heard about it, right? Have you heard about it?
Yes, 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 sir. It
How
went
has
through
it
Iran.
gone? It went through Iran. India is now developing a connectivity with Uzbekistan via Iran. And this is hot. This is happening. These are the news not of 2 months back. This is the news of just about 2 3 days back. India continues to manage its energy needs through Iran. India is also got or trying to get the connectivity of Afghanistan via the Chabhar. Although they have given it to the Chinese company, but that project is not going anywhere. The Chinese project is not going anywhere. Ultimately, I think the Indians will be able to go through that. What has India done next? It has facilitated membership of Iran into the SCO, because India is the president of SCO for this current year. Who is playing the card well and quietly? It's the Indians. And this connectivity with Iran and Afghanistan, where will it lead to? Where will the pressures go? Ultimately, onto the Western Pakistan.
Hmm.
So, therefore, we are seeing China being tackled in a very, very artistic manner. Very, very. It's like the orchestra ka jo hota hai na, that who's that master of the orchestra. He is the guy who is moving the. I am a fan of S. Jaishankar. Let me tell you, because that guy is real brains, and I think he's using the Indian approach in foreign policy extremely well. Then you have the Pakistan attempting a West Asia Pak alignment to include Iran, but this has been thwarted by the Americans. The Americans have said that you will not take oil from Iran, and the Pakistanis have said in black and white that due to some reasons, as of now, they will not be taking or purchasing oil from Iran. And you know why this is happening? This is happening because of the mullah. Mullah has to flow via America and Saudi Arabia to this place. So a lot of games are being played here. And in this game playing, who's going to benefit? The terrorists. With so much of external pulls and pressures taking place between Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, China, India, Saudi Arabia, and America, the vacuum is being created in Pakistan for the terrorists to continue to wage their war, whether it is Balochistan में BLA और KPK में TTP. एक डबल वैमी होगी पाकिस्तान के ऊपर इसका, और उसको झेलना बहुत मुश्किल होगा, और कराची में भी कुछ कुछ होता रहेगा. सिंधियों का भी शुरू हो गया, अगर आपने ध्यान से न्यूज़ को देख रहे हैं तो सिंधियों का भी कुछ एक्टिविटी शुरू हो गई है कराची में. तो वी आर सीइंग अ लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटी टेरर रिलेटेड. मैंने कहा ना था, पहली बार भी बताया था आपको, पॉलिटिक्स खत्म हो गई है, अब टेररिज्म की बारी है, और दे हैव स्टार्टेड इन दैट नाउ. This is just to tell you that there are indications of a TTP Balochistan alliance, and this is a dangerous. TTP is the world's one of the uh, largest I mean, most dangerous terror organization, coupled with BLA, which is the fastest growing terror organization. You can imagine what will be the cocktail as far as Pakistan is concerned in the times to come. This year, they have already crossed the last year's mark of figures, which I will show you. See this. Balochistan terror attack. It is still August and they have reached 253. More importantly, more suicide attacks are taking, more fidine attacks. I won't call them suicide, they are fidine attacks. No, the difference between a suicide attack and a fidine attack is that suicide attack is only a bomb. He explodes himself and he's like a human bomb, and whosoever dies in that, he dies. But in a fidine attack, they attack you, continue killing you, they don't explode themselves, they try to put maximum damage and then die in the process. So it is the fidine attacks which are more dangerous, which India was facing for quite some time few years back. Okay, you take this. This is even dangerous. 488. The the TTP has is almost touching the last year's figure. 527 total. It is 488. But more importantly, see the security forces. 192 last year, 173, and you still have September, October, November, December to go. Where is the Pakistan army? What is it doing? It is getting a drubbing of its life, right? So therefore, what I'm trying to get with these figures is that the battle is now between security forces and the terror groups. It's no more that innocent people being killed. Earlier used to find वो स्कूल के बच्चों को कर दिया कराची में, इधर उधर, वो जो पेशावर में, सॉरी, तो all that is gone now. It's now head on, and this is the called the final stage where the non-state is challenging the state with its security forces now under target. It will be a crucial battle. If China gets sucked in to preserve its assets in the CPEC, then things are going to be even more difficult and even more complex, and they'll become very dangerous. And Afghanistan, I am sure, has enough of these guys who are now knowing nothing. I mean, who don't know what to do. They are walking the streets without any job. They're all going to get sucked into either the BLA or the TTP. It will be ulta chalo movement. पहले होता था ना सब अफगानिस्तान चलो फ्रॉम सऊदी अरेबिया इधर उधर. नाउ इट विल बिकम उल्टा चलो मूवमेंट. So I'm trying to paint a picture, but to me it looks like it's a very much a possibility. Just to recount why I'm saying the Chinese would get struck. See, when you hear one odd attack, after a while, it gives you a very very ठीक है यार हो जाता है ऐसे attack. But you see now, 13th August, 10 a.m. with the recent attack. Okay, uh, I believe there are some reports of 4 Chinese killed. There are some reports of 9 Chinese killed. We will not comment on that. Suffice it to say that Chinese would have been killed. I can tell you with certainty. And as is the policy of China, you would have seen in Galwan also, they kept it a secret till after 2 years. They declared that four have been given their one of the highest awards of China. So what I'm trying to say is that they have suffered casualties. July 21, 13, including 9 Chinese, died in the bus attack, which you mentioned. It was near Dasu hydro power project. April 2022, 3 Chinese teachers and their local drivers were killed by a female suicide bomber on the premises of Karachi University. Then Karachi University, September 2022, a young Chinese was shot dead and couple critically wounded by a man posing as a patient in Karachi. These attacks are going to increase, and we will see the Chinese, Xi Jinping building a bad image within his country. As such, Xi Jinping, you all have discussed on various shows of yours that he is facing a lot of clout, a lot of pressure from inside. So these will only add to his problems, and they are also into that body bag system now. Body bags are not liked by the Chinese anymore. The, the old days of PLA fights are gone now. So this is about the BLA. That how strong the BLA is coming up as far as their potency is concerned. So BLA is, to my mind, the group to watch in the future. Please put your finger data on BLA, what it is going to do, and it is because of this that 90-day ultimatum has been given. It speaks of an organization which is on a high. Probably it has also seen the quality of the security forces which they are opposing. Okay, so it has seen that it can. I don't have to remind you of the Panjgor and the Nosaki incident. They attacked the post directly. Yeah. So therefore I think we are into, unless the Pakistanis do a very very severe, they come down heavily on these people and kind of launch a conventional kind of operation to get them out of this place. but
टुडे
but
आज इन लोगों ने ट्राई तो करा है सर। अफगानिस्तान में
okay,
कोस्ट में जो आप बोल रहे हो दैट वो तो ड्रोन स्ट्राइक है
वो
एक्चुअली।
तो वो तो देखो, पंजगोर के बाद भी इमरान लैंडेड पाकिस्तानी आर्मी फोर्सेस, वो हुआ क्या उसका? कुछ नहीं. ओके, यू कैन सी हियर दिस गाय क्राइंग यार कि हम लोग कब वापस
हाँ
जाएंगे.
वो
A DIG, I had shown it last time, but last time I had not linked it up that uh, uh, that in that much in detail. But now you can see that why these guys are, what is the quality of their security forces. So if this is the quality of security forces and this is being put up on the social media, what will be the morale of BLA and
हम्म,
TTP? So therefore, what have I done? So therefore, I think okay. So, yeah. So finally, let me now come to the question which you had asked me. Ki Anwarul Haq has been elected as the acting Pakistani Prime Minister to conduct the elections. First question: will the elections be conducted as per the dateline given in November? Is a very serious doubt. My assessment is Munir Bhai Sahab has selected his poor proxy in place. So the hybrid governance will become even more stronger. Okay. So everything will be now very easy for Munir to handle through a person who has no saying, no standing, not even in Balochistan. It is not the main party of Balochistan. If you know Balochistan main party, even if you go by the existing people who get elected, is BNP. Mengal is the chief of that party, and he's not happy with it. He says he was not consulted, and he was part of the alliance of PDM, and he was not consulted before appointing this fellow as the acting prime minister. So तो पहले तो बलूचिस्तान में ही अपोजिशन शुरू हो गई इसके अगेंस्ट. What stops such people joining hands with the BLA when they find that the Pakistani security forces are unable to control the situation? After all, political parties also have their connectivities, and when they switch sides, you don't know. Then Pakistan army is losing confidence. I have already spoken about it, and I'm saying this based on some visuals, based on some information which is coming out, and based on what the leaders are talking about. Imagine 10 core commanders get together and give a statement saying that Afghanistan will face dire consequences. It's come in black and white. अरे बोल क्यों रहे हो यार, सीधे करो ना डायर कौन. तो which is the superior army है? You are a superior army, you have all the wherewithal. Just show an action and do it. You don't have to announce to the gallery कि हम करेंगे. फिर then chief also announces, Pakistan chief also announces, and किया क्या? कुछ नहीं किया. So everybody knows you are doing a rhetoric here. 62% people blame PDM for economic woes. So where is the popularity? It still remains with Imran and Taliban, TTP, Faiz, Hamid, right? All these parties are, all these guys are still holding enough popularity. I'm not saying that Taliban is supporting Imran Khan, but I'm saying in this kind of a current environment, there are tactical supports always given. And that, to my mind, is the reason why Imran will not lose his popularity. And he continues to keep giving statements from the jail that by keeping me in the jail, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that uh, I have lost popular, or I have my significance is over. Its party is still there, out there. If he's not able to fight, somebody else will fight in his place. Maybe उसका चेहरा लगा के लड़ेगा वो. That he has been sacrificed, and it will be a sympathy vote for it, for that particular party. And it's very easy for people in our part of the world to garner sympathy vote. फोटो
Hmm.
लगाओ इमरान की, और उसका जो बंदा है वो इमरान के नाम पे लड़ रहा है. So unless they purge the entire uh, that party, PTM party, or they PTI, or they just uh, ban that party from standing for elections. But in Pakistan, कुछ भी हो सकता है, तो I can't say in advance, because once the Chief Justice changes in September, that is the time Nawaz Sharif. There are question marks on Nawaz Sharif's return also. He's
Hmm.
scared that if he comes now, the current Chief Justice might pass some strictures against him for the cases in which he is embroiled in. But maybe after September he might come in. There were rumors that when he came to UAE in between, that from UAE he's going to fly into Pakistan, but
Hmm.
that didn't
Hmm.
happen. That didn't happen. The current scenario is that Balochistan has been further alienated by appointing Anwar ul Haq as the acting prime minister, and not, they thought that they will be able to garner some support, or garner some sympathy by saying that we are looking after even our peripheral regions. But do you know that he is a Pashtun? Yeah, Anwarul Haq is a Pashtun, not a Baluchi. He's not a Baloch, and that is why BNP is against this fellow. So वहीं पे शुरू में टुकड़े हो गए उसके. Abhi, there is a debate going on as to who will be the acting CM of Baloch, because that assembly has been So Balochistan is getting further away and away from Pakistan, much more than even I would say KPK.
Mhm.
In fact, they're calling it as Pak held Balochistan. That's the kind of narrative is there. So they are facing their own deeds here. What they did, they are facing it now on themselves. My take is we are going to see Afghanistan, Pakistan turning into an Afghanistan, at least in their western frontiers. Like you have the Africans, when you have wars in Africa, you will find that slowly the state starts shrinking into the capital.
Mm.
I was in Africa. I was in a country in Africa. Ultimately, when we went in as the UN observers, we were restricted to the capital of the country, and outside is all controlled by these people. Controlled means they had put barriers there. You couldn't enter there. If you had to enter, you have to convince them that what for you are entering, what is your purpose, etc., etc. You would be guided. You will be so that is the kind of thing which is likely to happen in case situations are not controlled by Pakistani army. The only blue lining is only blue. I mean, silver lining in this, not blue lining. Silver lining in this is that uh, support of the US, which is there, may allow Pakistan army to take some actions to curb the Baluch insurgency. I call it as insurgency. They call it as terrorism. अपने शब्द खुद खा रहे हैं ये लोग अब हमको हमको नसीहत देते थे ये लोग है ना अब इनको नसीहत मिल रही है दे आर नाउ बीइंग टॉट अ लेसन so that is in nutshell here what I had to say on the Balochistan problem and also what is Afghanistan's view today. Today Pakistan is not friendly with Afghanistan, not friendly with India, not friendly with Iran because of some external pressures. With China, it is facing the music because the Chinese are saying you better punish them fast, otherwise, they have left it. They have left the statement open-ended in the air with a little bit of okay, and what consequences you're going to face that they have left it to imagination of the Pakistani chief or the Pakistan government, if there is any government of acting prime minister. The acting prime minister tried to do a lot of things. He resigned his post. He did everything possible, but that is not going to really assuage the feelings of Baluchis. So Baluchis are going to be against Pakistan, against the occupational force as they call it. They call Pakistan as the occupational force of Balochistan. So Pakistan is in shit here. Let me put it this way: it's in a even deeper shit now because the only support which they had was Chinese, and if the Chinese also go out, then you know what is going to happen to Pakistan.
चाइनीज तो जा रहे हैं सर, चाइनीज कौन सा रहने वाले हैं वहां पर?
Yeah, I mean, if Chinese knowing the Chinese, they are sensible people. They may not stay here to fight, but they will continue to make Pakistan fight. That's what what I'm trying to tell is that the proxy खेलने वाला खुद प्रॉक्सी बन जाएगा. जो प्रॉक्सी करता था ना अब वो खुद प्रॉक्सी हो जाएगा एंड अफगानिस्तान इज आल्सो मेकिंग टीटीपी एज इट्स प्रॉक्सी and attacks like what happened in Khost is not going to help Pakistan. Let me tell you, who are the past masters in uh, terrorism? Pakistan or a government run by terrorists? So the guys who are themselves terrorists are running a government. I think they'll be much more better and much more I would say adept in doing a proxy with another terrorist group, or not another, two of them. Right? In my opinion, even BLA is going to, and BLA may get support even from Iran also. If the situation doesn't improve, if the Pakistanis don't uh, take the, I mean, don't support Iran in its endeavor of economic deals or trade which they have agreed to, I think they will support the Balochis also. And who won't mind resource rich land to be under its control? So if they have an independent Balochistan, Iran will also benefit, Afghanistan will also benefit. Iran says we won't support Hazaras, so Afghanistan will say okay, we will support the Baluchis. So you get that map which I showed you on the first slide. That is the map which you are seeing in front of you. It's not losing territory, it's losing even control also. So that's what it is. Uh, in fact, there is so so much of a difficulty in predicting this particular region that pattern forming is sometimes goes off. So that is why I am not very emphatically telling कि ये ऐसा ही होगा. But all indicators tell me that possibly this is what the future course will be. That Pakistan will become Afghanistan. This is my tagline for today's discussion. Pakistan will become Afghanistan.
The conversion of Pakistan.
Pakistan into Afghanistan. और if you want to call it as terroristan तो पहले से भी बोलते रहे हैं हम लोग, but it will become like Afghanistan is something which and Afghanistan may emerge stronger here ultimately.
Interesting.
Ultimately,
Absolutely, sir. क्योंकि
ultimately.
या या अल्टीमेटली तो उसको
देखो,
कंट्रोल काफी.
they are already getting whatever they are getting mullah from the Chinese. Okay, Iranians are also not troubling them. Northern Alliance is unable to do anything because the Russians are involved in the Ukraine war, and Central Asian republics on their own will do nothing unless the Russians tell them to do something. So Afghanistan is having a cool border as far as its western borders are concerned. So it has to manage only one border, and that's Pakistan. And that border they have lived for 20 years. 1980 से लेकर के कितना साल 2020 में 2021 में they again formed the government. So how many years they have lived there? 40 years. Yeah, they must be knowing every stone of that particular area. And they have fought jointly. The TTP and Afghan Taliban have fought jointly to battle with the Americans. And that is why I'm saying the battle is going to be very dangerous.
इट इज अ आई मीन बड़ा मेरे दिमाग में जो चल रहा है इज अबाउट बोलते हैं ना सर जो इट्स अ डेंजरस सिचुएशन नॉट जस्ट हमारे लिए कि
हमारे लिए
हमारे
भी
बॉर्डर पे
डेंजरस
हो
है.
रहा है ये,
हमारे लिए भी
बट
डेंजरस है. हमारे
एक्चुअली
लिए भी
ये
डेंजरस.
एक्चुअली ये बड़ा डेंजरस है फॉर द रीजन
यस.
बिकॉज I mean, you have countries like Somalia which have gone into this path. ऐसी जो इनका जो thought process है और ये सब सोमालिया की तरह है.
बिल्कुल.
एंड सोमालिया का the end of it, if you know, population वहाँ पर काफी ज्यादा थी. अब तो पता नहीं भाग गए वहां से लोग सारे and all that. But जो भी बची है, they're doing piracy और ये वो and all that stuff because so that is थोड़ा dicey because आपका अगर उस चीजों में ये घुसते हैं तो आपका एक गुजरात का कोस्ट एंड योर एंटायर इकोनॉमिक coast which is there that comes under a lot of pressure.
It's dangerous. I told you it's dangerous for everyone because
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately, if lawlessness is there and there is no proper government governance here, then uh, then the overflow will take place. Spillovers will take place, and the spillovers are not good for us because the natural route possibly would be towards this side because there is a cause available in India as well. No? There is a cause available in India, I think. So when you find that this is over, they'll go to the next one. So we have to be careful. We have to draw our lessons from such a scenario, such a situation which is happening in Pakistan, and keep our in-house things intact. Yeah.
Hmm. So let's go
What
to
is?
some questions. Sorry,
Yeah. We can go to questions. Yeah.
let's go to some questions, guys. सबसे पहले तो यार please like the video. Let's see how many likes are there. यार सबसे पहले तो वो देखना चाहिए. हमारे पास काफी लोग देख रहे हैं. थोड़ा लाइक शाइक्स भी देख लेते हैं कितने हैं. 235. आई थिंक वी कैन डू बेटर देन दैट यार. थोड़े लाइक शाइक्स और दे देंगे तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा. जस्ट प्रेस द लाइक बटन. नीचे इतना कुछ ज्यादा एफर्ट नहीं है. उसको दबा दीजिए ताकि ये वीडियो काफी लोगों के पास जाए और काफी लोग देखें. बिकॉज देखिए आई मीन हम मजाक कर सकते हैं बट सिचुएशन थोड़ा सा डेंजरस है. आई मीन आई एम एक्चुअली थिंकिंग ऑफ फॉल आउट्स. मेरे दिमाग में इस टाइम पे जो चल रहा है वो फॉल आउट सिचुएशन है. वो फॉल आउट्स काफी खराब हो सकते हैं. एंड
बिल्कुल. सी द
आपने और हमने
प्रॉब्लम
एक एक
प्रॉब्लम प्रॉब्लम यही है, न्यूक्लियर जो वो है, दैट इज अ बिग इशू. Initially, people made Pakistan nuclear, and now they don't know how to handle it. It's something which people have to know. A lot of people will have to pay the price in case something like that happens. I know there are people who will say that the Pakistan army will be able to control, and I say they may be able to control it. I'm not saying that they may not be able to control it, but the question is, if they have to control it, they have to start doing it now. Yeah, it's high time just giving statements. They have to act. They have to act well.
आई वाज सेइंग गाइस प्लीज आप वीडियो को लाइक करिए. इफ यू हैव नॉट सब्सक्राइब टू द चैनल प्लीज सब्सक्राइब करिए उसको एंड बेल आइकन मत दबाना मत भूलेगा. यू कैन कंट्रीब्यूट डेव टॉक्स के एफर्ट्स की तरफ. अगर डायरेक्टली मेरे को कंट्रीब्यूट करना है यू कैन यूज द क्यूआर कोड. अदरवाइज आप सुपर स्टिकर्स एंड सुपर चैट्स भी यूज कर सकते हैं. यू कैन आल्सो ज्वाइन एज अ मेंबर ऑफ द डेव टॉक्स कम्युनिटी. तो घुसते हैं सर. सबसे पहले बत्रा जी सेज Janza, I foresee a Baluch Afghan corridor emerging with both sides gaining Afghan, both sides gaining, Afghan gaining access to the sea and Baloch gaining independence. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, this has already come in the this has already come in the news, and it is being talked about. The question is here that the Pakistan has to, I mean, the Baluch has to get the independence. Unless that happens, this kind of a corridor may not be able to rectify. And for Balochistan to get independence, Pakistan has to be defeated comprehensively. Uh, in this particular part of the region. And ultimately, even if you find that even in the case of Afghanistan, it was an agreement which actually led to Taliban getting the control of Afghanistan. So some kind of an agreement will also have to be worked behind the channel, and the Americans are good at that. So therefore, if something like that happens, yes, very much a good possibility. There'll be some stability there. There'll be a governance existing. There could be an alternate route for even trade, etc. So therefore, yeah, why not? I agree with you.
The Rekudik
Poss-
mine located both near both Iran and Afghanistan has good quality gold copper, which Baloch are no mood to give. It's big money. Chinese and Mandarin firms barrack gold.
You see, the whole ladai is on resources in Balochistan. So, how will the Iranians react? How will the Chinese react? As of now, the Chinese are having a total, I would say, access to the Balochistan. But Iranians, as of now, don't have the real. Actually, they're not in a position to do anything actively inside this particular region. So my take is that there'll be a and Iranians are very good in proxy, right? So proxy to BLA is very much possible. They'll work through the proxy. If you see Syria, also Iranians have been active. In Lebanon, Iranians have been active through Hezbollah. So therefore, that kind of activity Iran will continue to do, but direct confrontation may not be there. The Chinese, it's the Chinese who have to be the kingmakers in this particular thing. Are they going to enter with the boots? If they are not going to enter with their boots, then it is Pakistan army facing these guys. And going by what happened, I think the Chinese are always skeptic of entering physically. They will force Pakistan to raise divisions or get mercenaries also. Why not?
Will collapse of Pakistan not bring belligerent Muslims to the Indian borders?
Sure enough. It will bring belligerent Muslims to Indian borders. It may also bring in a lot of guys trying to come to India through various porous borders. I mean, in a lighter vein, if Seema Hadri or what was her name, if she could come without a passport to India, it's possible for anyone to spill over to India very much. But then India will have to guard against that. Yeah, that's what I told you, that any kind of unstable situation, either India takes control of Pakistan, but what will we do with so many people? Yeah, हमको इनको मैनेज करना पड़ेगा या इनके दुश्मनों को मैनेज करेंगे. So we have to, the best situation for us is that Pakistan remains embroiled in itself with its control being with the Pakistan army or Pakistan government, but remains embroiled in the internal wars, internal faction, internal rivalry. The focus will remain inside Pakistan, and the spillovers will not take place. The only care we have to take as a global responsible nation, and also the other nations of the world, is that the nuclear factor has to be taken care, because that is something which we need to be cognizant of. If something happens there, then my God, then it's a problem. It's a problem for everyone. Currently, none of these terror groups have the ability to actually use this kind of a system. Maximum they can do is give it to some other country. Like what I said, Saudi Arabia is one which has also been eyeing for. If Saudi Arabia is going to be the Islamic leader, Islamic world leader, it needs some kind of a nuclear capability. Has it been assured of this through someone? A, B, C, D. We had discussed this in the last video, and can it be sold to them? Possible. Can it be deliberately given to them for security purposes? Possible. Who can swing it? Maybe CIA, maybe US. But that's much later. That's much later.
Why General Munir is not sending the Air Force? Earlier, Air Force was used in Balochistan to control the terrorism. Now, why Pakistani army is hesitating to use the Air Force in recent times?
Against whom? Against whom? I think by now Pakistan army would have learnt what happened when the Americans used Air Force against the Talibanis. Most of the time, the casualties were civilians. Most of the times, you'll find casualties are civilians, and they must have the intelligence. Yeah, they must have very good intelligence to actually pinpoint. Technical abilities would have to be there. Have they got the kind of technical expertise which the Americans have? I have my doubts. So unless you can target their leaders accurately, correctly, you really can't send Air Force like that. And Air Force with what? If you send the Air Force, there will be collateral damages of a huge
That's the
nature,
point, huh? Sir?
and you will find that the people will go more and more against you, and they will start joining BLA even. In fact, the BLA would like them to use the Air Force. So
Hmm.
possibly मुनीर को किसी ने समझाया है कि Air Force मत use करो. Yeah, you can strike the terror camps across. That you can do. But अपने बलूचिस्तान के अंदर नहीं कर सकते हो आप. Will they use it against Iran? I mean, camps which are there in Iran? They dare not. They dare not. Can they use it in Afghanistan? Yes. But what are the implications of doing that? They also know it quite well. They will face some severe music inside their own territory. Yeah.
Mm, is is the nuclear Pakistan is the nuclear weapons in Pakistan safe with such internal strife?
You see, there are. Uh, uh, I have always been telling this particular fact that even there was a report which came out that the safety of the nuclear weapons in Pakistan have been very well ensured. In fact, they are rated higher than India as per that particular index.
वो तो because a detonator तो अमेरिका के पास है ना सर.
Hanji. So safety wise, the only problem is the dirty bomb. The only
Hmm.
problem is the dirty bomb, and that that is the only and the tactical bombs which they are able to get hold of. They are smaller in nature; they can be carried away, and then just exploded with any other means. And so, jo radiation hoga, that will be the pitfall. That will be the pitfall. Otherwise, I think the security and safety of the Pakistani nuclear weapons are fairly okay, fairly good. That will be the last bastion to fall if it falls. And by that time, I think the world would be aware. What are the solutions? Like I said, either China gets control of it, or there is some kind of an agreement that there is an international force which comes inside and takes care of Pakistan till Pakistan stabilizes under the UN. That's very much a possibility which can happen if things go bad. As of now, they are not. As of now, Pakistan army is well capable of taking care of its house, provided it works correctly and doesn't get involved in politics, which they are unfortunately. Half the time of
Caution.
their goes in, half the time goes in bloody politics.
Pakistan is a master in doing new things, like teaching the world if you have huge loans from China, then only the way out is terrorism. Put the threat into the Chinese mind and spread the fear worldwide.
Yeah, there is a limit to this particular tactics. You can fool a person for a while. You can one incident, two incident. Okay, people will take it. But remember, it was the same China which forced them to raise two divisions, which they would have otherwise used it against the Indians. Okay, so there are two divisions earmarked specifically for the security of the corridor. Imagine, yeah, if you're told in a country that your XYZ area through which a particular highway passes, and there are a lot of SEZs and hydroelectric projects, you'll have to deploy your military forces. I'm not even saying secure military forces. The kind of budget which you are actually deploying for that, I don't think it is a good idea, especially for a country like Pakistan, which is suffering economically. The 9 billion will go within 9 months. Out of the 9 months, 2 महीने खत्म हो गए हैं यार. 7 महीने रह गए हैं. They still need $20 billion just to take care of their debts here.
That is true,
Yeah.
sir. Global Office says Pakistan is not buying oil from Iran officially, but there's a lot of smuggling of oil that takes place from Iran. Pakistan has survived with oil reserve due to this smuggling. अगर आपको याद होगा यार, बीएलए ने आई थिंक एक डेढ़ महीना पहले क्वेटा के अंदर देयर वाज अ ऑयल स्टोरेज, ये सारा स्मगल वगल पड़ा था, उसको कर दिया था इन लोगों ने.
देखिए ये स्मगलिंग वाला रूट ना, आई अग्री दैट स्मगलिंग टेक्स प्लेस व्हेन देयर इज a ban, when there is a restriction, You will find, liquor is banned in state A, state B, state C, but flows take place. But does it contribute to the economy? That's the question. It contributes to the black economy. अगर वो चोरी से आ रहा है तो चोरी से ही बिकेगा। तो तुम्हारा तो जो रुपया और डॉलर का जो वो डिफरेंस है वो तो बढ़ता ही जाएगा ना। That is why they say that the black economy is not good, yeah. That way, if you take India's black economy is one of the highest. And the real estate in any country, I am even now telling you Canada also. Real estate is the biggest culprit of black economy. शरेआम करते हैं, शरेआम
Yes.
करते हैं लोग. But
Rumored.
it doesn't contribute to your overall economic picture.
Hmm. Didn't Pakistan Iran pipeline get cancelled because the US opposed it and Pakistan doesn't have money for its share of the project? It's not about that. US has been telling them not to do it for
Correct.
since it was signed.
Yeah. So what I am saying is you are right that US had told Pakistan not to indulge in taking money because of the fact that Iran and US do not enjoy good relations. They are under restrictions, and also the fact that Pakistan is in no position to say no to US here. We can say to US that we'll take oil from Iran, do whatever you want to do. Does Pakistan have that kind of a liberty? No, it doesn't have the money. So there has to be counter leverage, and that counter leverage is the mullah. Pakistan is struggling for mullah, and the Americans are giving them the mullah. So they say that we will give you the money provided you don't indulge in any deal with Iran.
Hmm.
Why? Iran is supplying to Russia. There is a secure Russia-Iran corridor which is going along as far as their drones are concerned. Today, the Russians have got an edge because of the Iranian drones. They were cheap and they were given in mass. So what I'm saying is that there is a international politics also playing around, and that is one of the reasons why they haven't been. They have had. That's why I said external forces are preventing Pakistan from colluding with or for having better relations with Iran.
So last few, sir. I have seen intuitive sense that Afghanistan is poised to exceed Pakistan in terms of prosperity. It is likely to embrace a blend of secular liberalism and theocratic principles.
If that happens, I think India will get a very strong toehold here. Will the Akhundzadas and the Haqqanis change? I have my serious doubts on that. Despite so much of leverage on Afghanistan to, when they were being told to release their money, they have almost $12 billion which are frozen, out of which some have been released by the Americans. But to release the additional amount, they are being put conditions, that your gender equality and women rights, etc., have to be taken care of. But they have still not agreed. And the stumbling block is what? The not the Doha group. It's the Kandahar group which is the stumbling block. And today the country is being controlled by Kandahar group. Kandahar faction, I would say. Kandahar faction of Taliban, which is headed by Akhundzada. And Akhundzada is the supreme commander of their. They haven't even conducted an election. They are not likely to conduct an election. I have my doubts if they will even think of. Uh, in fact, people are saying that go in for jirga, at least raise your jirga. वो भी नहीं करने को तैयार हो रहे हैं. So today the Doha faction is without any military support. See,
Hmm.
Akhundzada has a backing of military support. Haqqanis have their own strong military cadre or security cadre. It's the Doha group which is a little more reformed, and that was the group which actually struck this deal, and these guys took advantage of it. It was never there that they will do these kind of fighting and chasing out the Americans and the foreign nationals from Afghanistan, but they did it. So Doha faction has been sidelined. Baradar has been basically sidelined from Afghanistan, and till this the reformist get into some kind of a serious position to dictate terms, it is very difficult for a theocratic state like Afghanistan to convert into a mixture of liberal.
I mean, I can understand what they're doing. वो कर क्या रहे हो समझ में आता है. You can figure it out. They're trying to consolidate थोड़ा सा with a डंडा, which
बस
is understandable. But you know, the some of the steps that they're taking ये बेवकूफी वाले दिखते हैं. I mean, women को घर में बिठा दो, ये कर दो, वो कर दो. Having said that, I think they understand the break to all this stuff would be the women. अगर लड़कियां थोड़ी सी free होगी वहां पर तो their control will kind of weaken out. I wonder how
today
long will they.
today
I mean, कितना
today
खींचेंगे ये लोग.
nee, just for information, today there has been a demonstration done by uh, women in Afghanistan and in large numbers, basically on this particular issue. So there is some kind of a movement taking place, what you are saying,
No, it's been
but
there, sir. काफी.
but how much of a traction does it generate? It was done in a very restricted area, छोटी सी जगह में किया है इन लोगों ने, तो इस तरह की न्यूज आती हैं, but they are not converting into mass movement
नहीं नहीं सर,
unless there is
प्रोटेस्ट तो हर जगह होते हैं. इवन इन चाइना प्रोटेस्ट तो होते ही है ना. So
imagine Iran में against hijab, there was so much of protest done, so many people were killed, etc. But ultimately, Khamenei prevailed.
so
Rais and Khamenei prevailed. Rais is going to be the next supreme leader,
yeah.
as and when Khamenei dies.
What
Yeah.
are the prospects of India engaging positively with the Taliban, as we were talking about that, and securing future stability in the region as a whole? Can India afford that kind of engagement?
Yes, we are talking, and I think it is good that we talk with caution that we do not commit things which will land us up in problems. For example, if we deploy our people there and tomorrow something happens, our people should not be into danger. So, therefore, what we can do is provide them whatever assistance required in terms of humanitarian grounds. Like we are giving already, we have been supplying food stuff to them. We have been supplying medicines to them. So, such like activities we can continue to do. We have already established a technical embassy there. So there are people who are working there who can be easily taken out quickly. Not that the whole, I mean, we don't have large number of Indians now in Afghanistan, so that it becomes very difficult for us to take them out. There are some who are still stuck. I think they are being slowly taken out of Afghanistan. So what I'm trying to say is that people to people contact has to be maintained. That is very important, and that we can maintain. Then we why? Because if there is a change which takes place, we are quickly into the Afghanistan's control model, right? The second thing is we can give them monetary assistance, whatever is required, whatever we can spare them, so that they remain on our side and not on the side of the. We can take advantage of their condition, in the sense that if they are opposed to Pakistan, and your enemy's enemy is your friend, that kind of an action we can take, but with a lot of caution. With a lot of caution. Maybe let the Iranians deal with the Afghans, and we just pipe our route through Iran rather than directly going into Afghanistan proper with assets, etc. No, I don't think we should get our people assets involved there till we are sure that we have a escape route out in case if something like this what happened 2 years back in 21, वैसा कुछ होने पे हमारे को बाहर निकलने की वो होनी चाहिए हमारे पास, या फिर
We
हमारी
know that.
कैपेबिलिटी ऐसी हो कि वी कैन एंटर देयर, टेक दिस गाइज आउट एंड बी ऑफ.
I don't think we should put ourselves into all this stuff right now, sir. अभी
चलो,
अपना घर संभालते हैं उसके बाद.
या दैट्स राइट.
दूसरा है सर, आई मीन आप जो बोल रहे हो उसमें थोड़ा सेंस तो है, बट You know, Pakistan is a mess. It's a complete mess. It's in, it's a terrible mess actually. कैसे चलेगा आगे पता नहीं. Anyways, we now know that the Pakistani army has no capacity to deal with the terrorists. How would they stop a hypothetical attack on an outpost in Quetta by the BLA? Army factions would rather join those attackers.
See, the army is very well. The basic grounding of the Pakistan army is not bad at all. They're good. They're good. It's only the senior officers who get involved in the politics that the problems start. But one of the major factors which has come out in the Imran Khan episode of May 3rd and then May 9th, etc., has been that Pakistan army questions fighting against their own people. They are Pashtuns in the Pakistan army. If they have to fight another Pashtun, they don't like it. And this is not a one-off incident. This has happened in 2007. This has happened in 2008-9 when the first wave of terror attacks started taking place in that part of the world. Fata, उस समय फाटा बोलते थे उसको. So
Okay, I think sir का ये hang हो गया है. Anyways, we'll wait for him to come back. I just have one odd comment to take up. But guys, जब तक सर वापस आते हैं, प्लीज ये जरा वीडियो को लाइक शाइक कर दीजिए दोबारा से बिफोर वी आर जस्ट कमिंग टुवर्ड्स क्लोज टू द एंड. 400 लाइक्स हैं हमारे पास, हम लोग थोड़ा सा और इसको बढ़ा सकते हैं. बट यू नो मैं एक चीज बोलना चाहूंगा कि ये जो चाइना का इसके अंदर गेम होगा, मैंने अपने लाइव में भी बोला था कि चाइना के ऊपर एक बोलते हैं ना, वो एक टारगेट बैठेगा भी है. एंड ये टारगेट जाएगा काफी हद तक. यू विल फाइंड दैट द चाइनीज थोड़े से इन चीजों में फंसना शुरू हो जाएंगे. एंड they will have a situation where चाइनीज को ये डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा थोड़े टाइम के अंदर कि आप इसके बारे में करोगे क्या, बिना उनको एक क्लियर कट पॉलिसी के, क्लियर कट डिसीजन के. इनके इनके ऊपर इट्स गोना बी वेरी हैवी ऑन द चाइनीज. कि क्योंकि देखिए, आपका जो एक सेटअप आपने बनाया वो लोकल एरिया डेवलपमेंट के लिए नहीं बनाया. आपने वो सेटअप बनाया अपने एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करने के लिए. और जब आप एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करते हैं तो उसमें होता क्या है कि देयर इज अ सर्टेन सेंस ऑफ, वो बोलते हैं ना, एनिमिटी आपके अगेंस्ट में आनी शुरू हो जाती है. उससे क्या होगा, जब एक जगह पे ये लोग इकट्ठे होंगे, जब ये पूरा जो इनका मजीद ब्रिगेड, ये वो सारे इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे. अभी आप देखिए, जैसे जो बलोचिस्तान लिबरेशन आर्मी है, उनका एक रूमर निकला था कि उन्होंने अलकायदा के साथ हाथ मिला लिया. अभी वो अलकायदा के साथ हाथ मिला के बैठे हैं, इसके साथ हाथ मिला के बैठे हैं, उसके साथ हाथ मिला के बैठे हैं. इसमें थोड़ा सा इट्स अ डाइसी सिनेरियो. और सर ने एक चीज बोली थी शुरू में कि आपका एक जो ये जो बीएलए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक बनी है पाकिस्तान के अंदर, इट इज द फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग टेरर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन द वर्ल्ड. अब बहुत लोग बोलेंगे टेरर नहीं है ये, फ्रीडम फाइट. देखिए, इट्स अबाउट, आई मीन, लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू सेमेंटिक्स. वो नाम आप जो मर्जी कर लीजिए, बट इज द फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग दिस काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन द वर्ल्ड, जो एक एक कंट्री के अगेंस्ट में काम कर रही है. तो ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा चीज है. आई थिंक सर इज गॉट स्टक, और उनका एक कनेक्शन आई थिंक लग नहीं रहा है, या क्या हो रहा है. तो एनीवेज, वील ट्राई एंड एंड दिस शो. थैंक यू सो मच, आप लोगों ने ज्वाइन करा इसके लिए ऑन अ मंडे नाइट. मंडे नाइट इज एन इंटरेस्टिंग नाइट, क्योंकि आज स्पेशली ये जब पूरा न्यूज आ रहा था तो मैंने सर से सुबह बात करी कि यार सर जी इसके ऊपर बात करते हैं. एंड सो सर ने पूरा रिसर्च विसर्च करा. आई एम ग्रेटफुल टू हिम दैट ही इज डन दैट. प्लीज, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग इन गाइस. जाने से पहले आप प्लीज लाइक करना ना भूलें. सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं आप चैनल को. आपको पता है क्यूआर कोड है, ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं चैनल को, या सुपर स्टिकर्स और सुपर चैट्स भेज सकते हैं. I'll come back to you in the next couple of days with some more shows, some more interesting angles to a lot of things which are happening. इंडिया की जियोपॉलिटिक्स भी हाइट में है, और जैसे जैसे ब्रिक समिट पास आता जाएगा उसके ऐसे ऐसे उसकी पॉलिटिक्स आगे चलती रहेगी। बट टिल दैट टाइम गाइस, थैंक यू सो मच, आपने ज्वाइन करा। जय हिंद, जय भारत।